Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Venerable Masters, Dharma Masters, Dharma friends. Good evening. Today, I would like to talk about a patriarch in the Chan school and his works. This patriarch is named Master Sen Chan. Master Sen Chan was the third patriarch of the Chan school. After the first patriarch, Master Bodhidharma, and the second patriarch, Master Huike. Master Sen Chan was the disciple of Master Huike. Their student-teacher relationship began during the Tianping era of the Northern Qi dynasty. At that time, Master Sen Chan was a layman in his 40s. He was drawn to Master Huike by his notable stature and hoped to seek guidance in the Dharma and teachings from the master. As soon as he saw the master, he asked, "I am riddled with sickness. Please help me eradicate my offenses." The second patriarch, Master Huike, replied, "Bring your offenses here, and I'll help you repent and clear them." This scene resembles Master Huike himself seeking the Dharma from Master Bodhidharma in the past. The master's response: "Bring your offenses here, and I will help you eradicate them. I'll help you repent for your misdeeds." This is similar to Bodhidharma's reply when Huike asked him to help calm the mind. After a long pause, the layman finally replied, "I cannot find my offenses," meaning that no matter how hard he searched, his offenses could not be found, and he had literally no idea what his offenses were. Master Huike answered, "I've cleared your offenses. You should now abide in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha." By that, the second patriarch meant, "I have already helped you repent of your offenses. Now that your offenses are eradicated, you shall take refuge with the three jewels and rely on them as your guide." The layman said, "After meeting you, Master, I realized that I'm actually a monastic. However, I still don't understand what the Buddha and Dharma represent." Through this meeting with the second patriarch, I learned that I'm a monk. But what are the Buddha and the Dharma? Master Huiker said, "This mind is the Buddha, and the mind is also the Dharma. The Buddha and Dharma are non-dual. The same can be said of the Sangha." The second patriarch was referring to the three jewels in our inherent nature. Specifically, the Buddha of our self-nature, Dharma of our self-nature, and Sangha of our self-nature. The mind is both the Buddha and the Dharma. They are indistinguishable, not two and not different. The Sangha jewel is the same as well. Fully getting the message, the layman said, "Today I finally understand what the offenses cannot be found inside, outside, nor in between. Their nature is just like the mind, which is never apart from the Buddha or the Dharma." In other words, he had come to the realization that the nature of offenses is neither inside nor outside nor in the middle. Just as the mind is also the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, the nature of offense is likewise the same. Hearing this, Master Huike recognized his potential as a vessel for the Dharma. The second patriarch shaved the layman's head and ordained him, saying, "You are a precious treasure. From now on, you shall be called Sen Chan." Huike saw him as a living treasure, hence giving him the Dharma name Sen Chan. Sen Chan consists of the character Sen, meaning monk, and the character Chan, meaning bright or radiant, implying that he would shine brightly among fellow monastics. He was poised to achieve great things. He would have great accomplishments in the future. Master Sen Chan marked a turning point in the development of Chan Buddhism. His method of cultivation was different from Master Bodhidharma's classical wordless transmission, which until then was a unique key characteristic in Chan Buddhism. Master Sen Chan authored a 146 lines poem titled Verses on Faith. In Chinese, Xin Xin Ming. This work consists of 584 characters, signifying a shift from the traditional wordless transmission to a more verbalized approach. This poem is regarded as the first written teaching of Chan. Placed in the same rank as the Six Patriarchs Platform Sutra, it is one of the two classic texts in Chinese Buddhism, offering guidance on how to cultivate and documenting insights shared by the patriarchs after their awakening. Let us study the poem systematically, followed by a brief explanation of each line. The supreme way is not difficult. If you could stop picking and choosing, in the absence of likes and dislikes, everything becomes clear, undisguised. The supreme way refers to the great way. Way represents the principle. The ultimate and supreme realization of the principle is the way, which is a state inherent in all of us. It is not just something that we have, but is also complete and perfect within us. Therefore, it's not difficult to attain since we are already endowed with the way. How hard can it be? The second line, if you could pick and stop picking and choosing, the great supreme way, which is originally perfect and complete, cannot be reached through conscious effort. It is not a result of cultivation. It is already here. Therefore, all you need to do is just avoid picking and choosing. There is no need for any conscious effort. Any form of discernment or discrimination is done deliberately. Therefore, they're uncalled for and would be a waste of effort. When we pick and choose, we are in a mental state that is constantly switching between like and dislike, between give and take, hate and love, etc. Picking between right and wrong, self and others, black and white, long and short, round and square. These are our worldly ways of creating dualities and relativities because we humans live in a world of constant comparison. Due to our picking and choosing, we give rise to likes and dislikes, which are analogous to dark clouds that spread over the sunny sky. So, what shall we do then if we want to realize the great way? The next two lines give us the answer. In the absence of likes and dislikes, everything becomes clear, undisguised. To fully understand the great way, we must stop having relativities and dualities in our mind, such as like, dislike, give and take, right and wrong. If we could stop comparing and contrasting, then we will realize the great supreme way. The effect of a fleeting thought of love and hatred is described by the following lines. Even a hair's breadth of difference can set heaven and earth far apart. When we give rise to the slightest thought of like and dislike, our mind is far from awakening, much like the distance between heaven and earth. If you wish to see the ultimate truth, hold no bias, whether for or against. If we wish to realize the supreme principle of the Great Way, we should not differentiate between favorable and unfavorable conditions, which is a form of mental comparison. For and against are mere opposites, afflicting the mind like a disease. Not grasping the profound principle, you're only stealing your thoughts in vain. For you to see the great way, you should be impartial to favorable and unfavorable conditions. If anything goes against you, then the condition will become unfavorable. However, if you favor something, then the image of the opposite will appear in your mind. If you are against something, then what you support will also appear in your mind. This causes the mind to constantly choose between conflicting ideals, preventing it from reaching stillness. Our mind is afflicted by this disease, since all phenomena come from the mind. That means our mind is the central mechanism, the pivotal hub, and the master switch for everything. If you wish to see the ultimate truth, hold no bias, whether for or against. For and against are mere opposites, afflicting the mind like a disease. Now, grasping the profound principle, you're only stealing your thoughts in vain. Let's study the line afflicting the mind like a disease. If the mind is unwell, then all its mechanics and operations will be hampered, and it cannot function as smoothly as we wish. We will fail to recognize the wondrous truth, the profound cause. Any attempt to still and purify the mind will be futile. The way is perfect, like infinite space, nothing lacking and nothing in excess. Due to constant grasping and discarding, you depart from the state of blissness. The entire Buddha's teachings are perfect, complete, and as vast as the universe. Like space, it encompasses everything, lacking nothing and in excess of nothing. Let's swap the order so the meaning is more straightforward. You depart from the state of lessness due to constant grasping and discarding. Nothing lacking and nothing in excess means it is so vast that it includes everything, and it is so refined that it contains every detail. That's the original nature of sentient beings. Suffice just as it is, and no work is needed to further perfect it. In other words, every sentient being is inherently perfect. Here, thusness refers to the Tathagata's attribute, which is thus unmoving. However, due to our deliberate grasping, discarding, picking, and choosing between favorable and unfavorable things, we leave the original state and are unable to remain in thusness. Our mind is moved and turned by external conditions. Therefore, we should avoid running after our thoughts and pursuing our delusions. When we indulge in such thoughts, we are departing from the ultimate truth. We are originally part of the truth, but as soon as a single thought arises, we lose ourselves and deviate from the truth. We may have established close affinities with certain places in this world. However, in this conditioned world, do not be attached to the illusory facade of emptiness. We should make great resolve to realize Buddhahood and walk the Bodhisattva path. Do not dwell forever on the states of emptiness. Do not feel complacent with the attainment of stubborn emptiness. One of a kind equanimity naturally sees all duality. This describes the state of the Buddhists, because the Buddhists regard everything as equal and see all Dharma with equanimity. Their mind contains nothing. And they are inherently pure. The ancient sage described this state with a poem. The impartial mind of our cultivator is serene, like the reflection of the moon and mountain on gentle waves. When one's cultivation reaches this stage of equanimity, one's mind is like the reflections of the bright moon and dark mountains on a calm lake. It uses the picture of nature to illustrate the naturally all-embracing mind. Here, the poem talks about the essence of the way. What does it look like? How did we lose it? And how can we recover it? Just as the first two lines state, the supreme way is not difficult if you could stop picking and choosing. The poem clearly states that the way is not difficult. We are originally replete with it. We are already residing in the way, and the way is us. For example, in Christianity, Jesus says, I'm the truth, and the truth is me. He instructed his followers to follow him. The meaning is the same here. We are endowed with a way from the start, and we are the way itself. It is not difficult at all. So, why do we stray from the way then? As soon as we start choosing, picking, differentiating the right from the wrong, self from others, and having all kinds of dualities, that's when we deviate from the way, which is originally thus unmoving. We are no longer thus because our mind has moved. It starts to make distinctions between right and wrong, self and others, and goes off course. The second line warns us against picking and choosing. We have lost the way because of this. It points out our mistakes. If you could avoid this mistake, everything is already there for you. It is that simple. What's so difficult about it? Difficult and easy go hand in hand. The way is difficult for us because we cannot avoid these mistakes. Similarly, when we take the precepts against killing, eating meat, lying, and speaking harsh words, we ask ourselves, can we observe them? It's difficult because we are unable to observe them. When we have the notion of like and dislike, we have already strayed from the way. In fact, I shouldn't have used the term stray because when we stray off, we need to return to it later. I should have said, we have lost the truth. When we awaken one day, we'll realize that we never need to search for anything at all. We didn't lose anything to begin with. We are originally the way. We are lost because we started to pick and choose, accepting what we consider good and rejecting what we consider bad. When we stop having dualities, such as pretty and ugly, love and hate, or when we let go of contrasting concepts, such as one and two, then what are we? We're nothing. We are simply what we are in the beginning. We suddenly understand everything. As soon as we leave hatred, love, and the mind of discrimination behind, we naturally recognize who we truly are. Let us continue analyzing this poem from line 14. Object is a result of a subject. Subject arises to act on objects. If you wish to understand them both, their origin is one emptiness. Phenomena do not come into being on their own. They cannot emerge by themselves. They have to rely on supporting conditions. And these conditions also need certain factors before they can materialize. How do they arise then? They arise from the awareness of our mind. Because the mind is aware of them, conditions are formed. Therefore, all phenomena come from the knowing mind. Similarly, our knowing mind also does not arise on its own. It needs certain conditions to come together to manifest itself. Hence, the text says the mind relies on supporting conditions. the saying goes, phenomena arise neither by themselves, nor by others, nor by both. They arise not without a cause. Therefore, the poem says, object is a result of a subject. External conditions are brought into existence by the knowing mind. It is awareness of the mind that gives rise to the objects or conditions that we are aware of. Next line is subject arises to act on objects. Because there are external objects to be perceived, the mind comes into being. If you wish to understand them both, their origin is one emptiness. Would you like to understand the connection between the subject and its object? They all come from emptiness, which is completely unattainable. In emptiness, the two are the same. Both hold the myriad of phenomena. This emptiness, together with each and every of its object and subject, encompasses a myriad of phenomena in the universe. Having no difference, coarse or fine, how then can there be preferences? The notion of coarse and fine does not exist in emptiness, since the subjects and objects cannot be defined by coarse and fine attributes. How can we distinguish one from another? The nature of the Great Way is vast, and it is neither easy nor hard. With narrow views, they question and doubt. The more in haste, the more you delay. The Great Way is everywhere, meaning sentient beings' minds are present everywhere as well. The mind encompasses myriad things. And it can be both easy and hard. It is easy because everyone can become a Buddha. And it is also hard because not many are actually successful. Historically, how many have become sages and virtuous ones? Why are we still ordinary beings? That's how difficult it is. It can also be very easy. From the perspective of our inherent nature, everyone has the potential to become a Buddha. It's hard only because we are still an ordinary being. The supreme way is not something that those with the narrow mind can comprehend, nor is it something that those with shallow understanding can accept. Why? They are full of suspicion and doubt, like a fox crossing a river in winter. In order to cross the frozen river, the fox listened carefully at every step to check for the sound of water, fearing broken ice and wary of danger at the sound of water. Therefore, it listens very carefully before taking a step forward. If a practitioner has doubts, then they won't have such samadhi. Because of doubts, we are constantly worried and restless, thus unable to accomplish much in our cultivation. Too attached, you lose the middle way and will definitely go astray. Let things unfold their natural course. True substance neither comes nor goes. If we are attached to the speed of fast or slow, then it is not the middle way. And we will fall into the extremes. Whether we're impatient or procrastinating, we're still gravitating to one side and losing the proper balance. If we could let things unfold naturally and cultivate without forcing it, the great way will fully manifest. It neither comes nor goes and has no past, present, or future. Because the way is originally vast and unobstructed, how could there be stopping, dwelling, or a fixed boundary? Since it's vast and unobstructed, how could it be contained at one place? This is the end of today's lecture. It's time for transference.
Amen.